You're listening to I-95, Bangor's classic rock station with JStew and Cori in the morning. JStew and Cori rock.
Bad company. I-95, Bangor's classic rock station. 95.7 FM. JStew and Cori here today. Ready to start the week all over again.
There are a lot of people this morning who are not ready to start the week, but is that big game?
It's funny you say that,
overtime.
Next door over at the sports station.
He took the day off.
They're open for business, but there's some empty seats in there today. It seems like it's only the dude who flips the switches and Brian Sullivan. And that's
it was a long game. I don't even like football. I stayed up for it, for the commercials and to kind of just see what happened. And then when that went into overtime, I was like, you got to be freaking kidding me.
I saw 0 seconds of the game.
I figured you would, so I figured I would stay up and watch it so that one of us would have an idea of what's going on.
Sure.
But
I'm glad you care enough about other people's opinion of football to stay up late and watch the game.
Well, it's not just football. It's kind of the big game. And there was a lot that happened that was interesting and kind of funny. So we can kind of unpack that a little bit later. I usually only watch it purely for the ads and for the halftime show. But I paid a little bit more attention. And it was kind of historic in ways. So I can speak to it only for that reason. Otherwise, I don't care. I just don't.
Except except for all the ways that you care.
Well,
which I understand.
It's interesting.
I guess.
It's interesting when games like that happen because then it makes you kind of care a little bit because you're like, wow, this is pretty impressive. They're okay athletes. Otherwise, though, I'm just kind of like.
See, I don't buy it for a second. I think football is, and a controversial opinion here that'll probably set our phones on fire, even though we're not a sports station. I think football is basically like WWE. With all that's been going on and stuff like that, I don't believe for a second that it was anything but rigged from the beginning. You know what I mean? There's no way. I don't believe it. Because with all the hype around everything, you know what I mean? It's just like, come on. I mean, I've seen people say so, like they've said so next door over on the sports station. They've joked that it's basically the whole thing's rigged and that it's just like professional wrestling and that, the big money behind it has as much to do with what goes on as anything else, just like any other, professional sport.
I was going to say, that's kind of like life right now. Everything could be rigged. But it was an interesting game, and we'll talk a little bit about that. Right now we have our own battle up there, and it's some pretty big heavy hitters, the Stones and the Who. We have It's Only Rock and Roll, your pick, and Long Live Rock, my pick. So you can vote 9919713. You can hit us up on Facebook or our app as well. A little bit later on today, we're going to have some cool tickets to give away that we'll dive into and tell you all about. So if you're dragging this morning, I feel you.
Yeah, you'll be all right.
Oh, I'm not saying I won't be all right, but I understand why people are dragging.
I was like, there's enough coffee out there. We can do this.
Yeah.
Well, the Clash will help us out. Let's get that going on I-95. JStew and Cori on I-95, Bangor's classic rock station. We're just hanging out, cranking the tunes. You got the morning music matchup at the I-95 Facebook page. Let me see if I can remember. Wasn't it the Stones versus the Who? Is that who it is this morning?
Yep.
Oh,
it's,
wow.
Only Rock and Roll, and I like it, or Long Live Rock. Those are your options for today. Those who are awake and ready to go. We've got that happening right now.
The Who is stoned. Said no one ever.
I think, the Stones did a halftime show, and I remember that, and that was controversial because they had turned on the mics and stuff. You remember that? And because they couldn't say certain lines to start me up, and so the FCC kind of.
How long ago was that? Like, what is in "Start Me Up" that you can't say out loud?
You make a dead man blank, and that was turned down. The mics were, and that was and Keith Richards threw a fit.
Well, I'm sure.
As well he should, whatever. So that happened. But this halftime show, let's just talk about that first. I mean, the game happened and we'll go through that. But the halftime show, everybody was
we don't have to. 'Cause like I said, the Pats weren't in it. Who cares?
True.
But the halftime show,
so
yes.
what brought this to my attention, of course, is because I've been following it because of the Taylor Swift thing. Not that I'm a fan, but just because, nightmare fuel. It's great. And my girls were like, let's watch it, Mom. And we hadn't talked about that whole Taylor Swift effect on football yet. So
Sure.
I was like, all right, let's see how this unfolds. And so we got snacks and sat down. And I waited to see what they would do, if they would show her. So in the first half of the game, they only showed her like 4 times.
Right.
Which I thought was pretty impressive. Because they did some restraint. And Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds' wife, she was there. And then it was, anytime they would show her, it was like, well, who's next to her now? And there were, like, Lana Del Rey was there at one point. And it was this group, like rotating cast of who's who characters that were standing next to her. But I was interested in the halftime show because, well, Post Malone started the thing by singing America the Beautiful. I don't know where half his body went. A lot of people didn't know who he was because, he's Post Malone. And he looks like a Post-it note. I call him that.
Sure.
And then Reba came out and sang the national anthem. It wasn't the best. I know, a surprise because it's Reba, but okay. So that's
now, is it wasn't the best? Like she sang it badly, or she just didn't do it all fancy like every R&B singer does when
she
they come out?
She tried to do her fanciness towards the end, but it was just she sings in a lower register, and I don't think it did her any favors. The key that it was in, or something, it didn't sound the best. She did a lot of pointing, and she was very patriotic. And that was great. But the sound
I think that's all that matters. I had seen some chit chat on social media where people were annoyed with the trend of super singers coming out to do the national anthem. A lot of veterans are just like, it's our national anthem. Just sing it, respect it, do your thing. Don't turn this about you. Just, do the business and get the hell out of there. But, not so much these days. I counted on Reba being that person, who was just I'm going to come out here and sing the national anthem like it's supposed to be sung,
She did for the most part. I would say 95% of it, and at the end, she took some liberties, and that's fine, whatever. Sure. The halftime show should have been half of the halftime show. They started out, and I was like, what in the crap is happening? It's like the circus exploded, and Usher's out there singing, and then, as he made his way from one part of the field to the actual stage, and then Alicia Keys was up there with a bright red piano, and she sang a couple songs. She started her whole set, and she's a beautiful singer with this weird squeak. And my girls were like, what was that? And I'm like, I don't know. But then they brought freaking roller skaters out. Nice. And when the roller skating crew came, then the rest of the cool stuff came, and that was awesome. The game itself, like I said, went into overtime. It got really close. My dad, his internet crapped out, so I was texting him the scores, which was kind of hilarious.
Oh, boy.
And then ultimately the Chiefs won at the very end. So spoiler alert, sorry about that. But yeah.
Again, no pads, no worries.
I know.
You're fine.
So it was interesting. But yeah, that was the Super Bowl in a nutshell. And that's all we'll have to say about it.
Well, let's get on to our Super Bowl at the I-95 Facebook page. Get your votes in there. We'll see who's victorious shortly, coming up on I-95. I-95, Bangor's classic rock station. JStew and Cori here today. Stones versus The Who in our morning music matchup, if you haven't gotten your votes in.
It's not really even versus, because I think we have one Who vote and the rest are all Stones.
Gorgeous sunrise out there this morning that's starting to kick off.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, that's going to be nice.
Looks like bubblegum and cotton candy.
Yep. That's wicked nice for another 4 weeks. And it's going to be dark at this time again.
I know.
It's just going to be terrible and awesome. I guess I'll like it when it's light out again at 6 o'clock at night, but, I'm sort of bummed. I get used to this. When you drive to work in the dark every morning, you start to look forward to it being light out when you drive to work because it's such a finite amount of time in the year,
Sure.
So it's just like, sunshine in the morning. And then, daylight saving time comes around and kicks you right in the temporal gonards. Kicks you right in your alarm nuts.
Your alarm nuts.
There we go.
Yeah. Well, that's that's happening. But the sun, if you're getting a shot of this is beautiful.
It is.
If you have a view, if you're out there working, like our buddy Dave. So somebody sent me the note over the weekend. Happy spring in 5 weeks, and I was like, "Oh, you are way early. Look at you. You are counting down." But I guess that's legitimately when it's supposed to show up is 5 weeks from now.
Well, we just had false spring for the last few days. As we learned last week, the National Weather Service actually agrees we have 6 seasons in Maine, not 4. So we had fall spring. We've gotten that out of the way. Now we're going to go back to winter for a little bit. And then it'll be spring. I mean, we were just talking about, the proper forecast is coming up here in a few minutes. But when we were talking to Ian a few minutes ago, today isn't going to be too bad, and tonight and stuff. But tomorrow, there could be, it's going to be a little colder. There's going to be a breeze again, so we're going to get those wind chills. But it's one of those rare cases where you get to, hopefully, knock wood, sort of point and laugh at the rest of the state as they get pummeled with snow, and we're just like dusting it off our shoulders, and that's about it.
You say that out loud now, and you have jinxed us. We're going to get 5 feet.
Nah.
And I'm going to look at you and be like,
nah. Not this time. Because even Todd is saying we're up around the Bangor area. Outside of the coast, he's like, Maine is not really going to get touched too much. Down around, Kittery, Wells, Kennebunk, that area, they're getting like 6 to 10 inches.
Oh, well, even that's not terrible.
We're supposed to get like a dusting to an inch, and that's about it. So we're not going to get 0 snow. We're just not going to get much. So that ain't bad. I'll take that.
I will take it as well.
Well, good for you.
Also take care of this morning music matchup here momentarily and move on to giving stuff away, which is cool.
Yeah, we got all sorts of things to do this morning. So get your winning fingers ready to use the telephone. We don't need any losers.
Just winning fingers.
Yeah. We'll have that going on. Like I said, too, the forecast is on the way. So if you want a sort of better glimpse at what the next couple days look like, we have that on the way. And then we'll have our winner. So stay right here. I-95. I-95. JStew and Cori on Bangor's classic rock station. There you go. Stone's taking the top spot today. That means we're going to have to move on to Friday with The Who.
Okay.
So goodbye, The Who.
It's circled, and we'll see what happens tomorrow. Now, today, do we want to let everybody in on what we got going on today? What we're going to be giving away?
Next hour, of course, everybody was super stoked about Britt Floyd coming to Maine. Sadly, they're not coming here to Bangor, but they're coming to Portland, down at Merrill Auditorium. And the show sold out so fast, and they had an extra day somewhere in their touring schedule, so we have more Britt Floyd tickets, which is pretty exciting.
Do another show.
Yeah. I mean, this is up on our website. It's been there for a hot minute, so it's not like it's a secret that we've had these tickets sort of come our way. But just the same, you're going to have an opportunity to win them this morning when you have to tell us, are they a Brit or are they not a Brit?
Yeah.
That's what we got going on.
Might surprise you.
Yep. Oh, I was looking at this list. There are a ton of famous people that you have no idea are either from Britain or are from here and moved there and have never left since, things like that. So we have an abundance of choices. And then like you and I are talking about a bunch of like famous people who, especially actors, who you may not even know are from there because more often than not, they work here and do it with American accents.
Yeah.
So a lot of people don't even know that some people are British. So that's what we're going to suss out this morning.
Exactly. Plus, a little bit later on, we will draw the winner of our Rock Your Valentine prize pack, which we'll get to in just a little while. And, of course, it's Monday. So we're just going to do Monday that we know how we know how to do, which is lots of rock.
Yep. So. We got plenty of that. We got it stacked up and ready to go. So plenty to do. Lots of things to find out, things to win. I think it's going to be a full morning.
I'm with you.
All right,
Let's do it.
then. All right. The next hour, get ready for all that coming up on I-95. Bangor's classic rock station. And a throat full of morning. There, that's better. My Lord.
It's an attractive sound.
Oh yeah, it's just what everybody wants to hear in the morning. Like like none of us grew up listening to our parents in the bathroom going like, trying to get ready all the time.
Okay, so there was this one friend that I had growing up. She was the youngest of 3 girls. They were my babysitters growing up. And whenever we spent the night at her house, her mom was a nurse, and she'd get up early. And it was always one of those things, you'd be dead asleep. And all of a sudden, and I'm not kidding or exaggerating when I say 5-10 minutes of straight that in the bathroom. Just the blowing the nose first, and then it was like bringing everything from this woman's lungs up.
Yep. And for whatever reason, when your parents or your parents' friends blow their nose when you're a kid, it always sounds like, oh
my God.
It never just sounds normal. It's like their whole face is coming off.
It would scare the crap. And it was funny because I would always look up and be like, oh, are they still sleeping? I would be the only one up. They just slept through it like they're so used to it. Imagine that is like the sound that you wake up to every morning.
Oh,
I loved this woman.
Yeah.
She was fantastic, but scared the crap out of me every time I spent the night there.
That's legit. Yeah.
With
you
her
don't need
nose
that in your
sounds.
life.
Jeez.
So, should we get right into this, or should we set this up and then do it next break?
Oh, I'm ready, and I think they are. Let's just do it.
Yeah, we'll see. Of course, we just said a few minutes ago, Brit Floyd has added an additional show to their upcoming performance at the Merrill Auditorium in Portland. I know every time they've come here to Bangor, I think they've been here at least 2 or 3 times. It always sells out, and it's a huge event, and everybody loves it. I mean, how many times is Steve, when he's called in and talked to us?
I was just going to say, I wonder if Steve is going.
It's always, he loves it. It's always a big deal. I mean, and they're so good, too. It's like if you just kind of ignore the band and watch the light show, you would just assume you were seeing Pink Floyd. I mean, they're that kind of talented. So we're going to send somebody down. You just have to tell us whether this famous person is a Brit or not a Brit. Now, these could be people who live in America. We're gonna make the rule they have to be born there. That's okay. the only rule, so to speak. Now,
well, as we go.
think about how many famous people live in other countries that may even have English accents, because if you live in a place long enough, you're going to start to talk like them. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So they may even talk like they're from Britain, but might not be from there. Or it could be someone that is from there that you had no idea. So that's what we're going to do this morning. We're going to give you the person. You tell us, are they Brit or not a Brit?
991.
9713.
You got to call us.
Oh, it's already ringing. We're good to go. All
right, here we go.
So
Brit
when we come back,
Brit.
We'll have our winner, Brit or not a Brit, on I-95. I-95, who's this?
Good morning.
Well, good morning to you. How you doing?
I'm great. How about yourself?
We're fantastic. Just fantastic. So are you ready to play a little Brit or no Brit this morning to try and win some Brit Floyd tickets?
I sure hope so.
We're going to play Brit or not a Brit. You're going to get into the show if you can tell us if Jerry Springer is a Brit.
I think he is a Brit.
Yes!
You are correct.
Boom. I had to look it up. He is from England, but moved to New York when he was, a boy with his parents, but his parents were British. So
no surprise that England created sorts of strife here in the U.S.
It was a plan. It was. They were just like, this guy is going to ruin America with his television show.
He's going to ruin TV completely. He's going to start the revolution of being embarrassing on TV way more so than anybody ever has. Let's send him over there.
Yep. My guess is they thought that if Jerry Springer got famous on TV, that they could somehow take back America.
Yep.
I think they were trying to restart the war, is what I think. With Jerry Springer as their general.
We're going to ruin
general
America.
Chaos.
Get over there. Do your best. And boy, did he ever.
Yeah.
He never turned back.
No, there we go.
The world's never been the same thanks to that, Brit. I wouldn't have known.
Well, congrats to Beverly. She is off to see Brit Floyd. That show is not far away. It's, less than a month out. It's just a few weeks.
Did you say March 4th?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have tickets all week. You have ample opportunities this week. If you did not get in on the phone Head over to the app and put Jerry Springer as your answer. That's simple. Jerry Oatmeal, Jerry Springer. Put Jerry, put Springer, put both. It'll be fine.
Jerry Seinfeld. We'll even take that, whatever.
It'll be weird and awkward and the opposite of Jerry Springer, but I'm all for it. Whatever it takes to get it done. So head over to the app if you didn't get in on the phone, and then tomorrow morning we will do this all over again. More chances all week to win Brit Floyd tickets here on I-95. I-95, Bangor's classic rock station, 95.7 FM. JStew and Cori here this morning. Sort of in recovery mode after yesterday's sportsing.
Yeah, sports. Mm-hmm.
So there. A little later on this morning, too, of course, if you entered to win our Valentine contest at the app, we've been going through the list of people who won, and we're honing our way in on a couple of options. So if you did enter at the app for that contest and you really want to win that sweet gift pack, I suggest you be available to answer the phone in a little while.
Yeah.
You know, if you're still asleep, time to get out of bed. Like that poor person we called last week and woke him right out of a dead sleep.
Oh, my God, that was so funny. But not for her.
No, probably not. We were trying to make her tell jokes while she was still half asleep and stuff like that.
She seemed excited, as excited as it would be if I were woken up in the middle of the night by somebody. I was like, what? Okay.
She did swear. It was good. I had to edit that out.
Yeah.
It's no problem, though. But I was looking at, had it open, looking at, because we asked everybody to submit like a little...
why do you like your person?
Yeah. And there were some just great answers. So it's not like we were looking for great ones, of course, but at the same time, we like to keep it pretty random. So it's just kind of like, let's go there. And it looks pretty good. So I suggest you be ready this morning. That's all you got to do. But in the event that person is not listening right now, we'll give them a chance to get out of bed, get some coffee in them, and, then act excited because
clear your throat.
Yeah, Lord, sounds. You've heard me do it this morning already. It's just like
yes, we have.
It's fun. So that's what we got going on this morning. And reminder, of course, too, if you did not get in this morning to win the Brit Floyd tickets, all you have to do is put Jerry Springer in at the app.
And that will be the word.
Never thought I'd say that before, but
I know, right? Things that
just put Jerry Springer in.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's what we got going on. Be ready. All you got to do is be ready for that. And then we're going to jump into all sorts of stuff over at i95rocks.com in the app. So lots to do this morning. Stay right here. Classic rock station. Hopefully nobody hangs up on us when we call our Valentine winner here in just a few minutes. So how much thunder and lightning did you get at your house the other night?
Oh, my God. That was nuts. Right?
February thunder is weird. It's always because K-Stew and I are standing in the living room, we're hanging out with the dog, we're doing whatever, and we hear a sound. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like the loudest clap of thunder, but we hear this sound, and we're like, it was the type of sound where I immediately ran downstairs. I'm like, okay, did a pipe burst? Did, like anything bad happen? And we start walking around, and we're like, okay, nope. So then finally I text my neighbor and I'm just like, hey, did you hear a loud bang? And he was like, I was literally just about to text you and ask you the same thing. And then a few minutes later, of course, the lightning started and the thunder and stuff like that.
Well, it was weird because I wasn't home. I was texting with a friend of mine. I was visiting other friends. So I was out in the Eddington area, out that direction. And a friend of mine who lives out in Kenduskeag, we were texting back and forth, and he was like, thunder just hit. And I thought he was joking. I was like, ha ha. And he's like, yeah, no, seriously, that's thunder and lightning. I was like, uh-huh. I thought he meant it's thunder and lightning. That's awesome. No. And then 25 minutes later, I'm like, holy smokes, it just started to downpour and the thunder hit. And I was like, this is a weird thing to have in February. You're right.
It is.
It was nuts.
We've talked about it before. I remember the first time I noticed thunder snow.
Yeah, thunder snow is interesting, too.
35 years ago was the first time I ever got caught up in that. But it's rare that you get these February thunderstorms. But it's like I get why it happens. It's sort of like the opposite of the summertime. You know, in the summertime, it's hot on the ground and it's cold up in the sky, and those two things come together and cause the weather issue. This time of year, it's like the other way around. It was, well, actually, I guess it isn't. It's still warmer on the ground and colder in the air. But
yeah,
I was thinking it was sort of reverse that, but no. But either way, we created enough. What is it? What's the word I'm looking for? Convection energy or whatever to create thunder, which is just weird.
I felt instantly terrible for thinking that he was a liar for a minute. I was like, wait, what? That's not, he wasn't joking. That's crazy.
Nope.
So, yeah, thunder and lightning over the weekend. That was nuts.
In February. I immediately put it up right on our Facebook page. I'm like, all right, who else had the thunder? Because it was a big deal. I saw people freaking out on Facebook and stuff like that. And I was like, all right, let's find out who all the people are that are seeing this, because it's just nuts.
Mm-hmm.
So
well, it's just unusual. I mean, I think it's one of those things where you don't expect that. So
oh yeah, nobody usually thinks about thunder in the winter, although it does happen. We've talked about thunder, snow, which is the thing too. That wasn't the case in this particular instance because it was all rain. But even that was surprising because it was like a halfway decent afternoon, and then all of a sudden just downpour.
But then it got like frosty and slippery after that, like wicked quick. So that, it was a weird drive home. I was like, this is happening.
It was funky. Luckily, according to Todd Simcox, today is going to be another halfway decent day, partly to mostly cloudy, high in the 40s, not too bad. It is going to get steadily colder over the next 24 hours, and then the wind chills tomorrow are going to be a kind of a big deal. So we could have wind chills in the single digits to 0. So we're right back to winter. Right back to winter. It's exciting. But yeah, so stay with us, because if you have entered our Valentine contest, we're going to be calling somebody here next hour. So make sure you're ready to win if you entered. Stay right here on I-95.